Hi, life groups. Hope you guys are having a great week and just so blessed by what God's doing in our church. Just before we get into a little bit of Sunday, just reminding us that this coming week we have the front yard parties, of course, on Halloween night. It's not celebrating Halloween. We're not doing like a Halloween party. They're called front yard parties, and it's an outreach. I just want to remind everyone, and maybe you're new to the fellowship, because Halloween is obviously, as Joel said, it's just a truly, I mean, its roots is very much a satanic holiday. I know, it's very innocent. People are just out, trick or treating, and just basically kids are dressing up for fun, obviously, and going to get candy, as many of us, did as we grew up. But the real roots behind it is evil. And so I just ask that we would pray. There are a lot of things that happen, a lot of satanic, like very satanic rituals, seances, sacrifices, even human sacrifices that actually happen on Hallows Eve. And so we just want to be praying. Of course, we want to be a light in the midst of darkness. And so that's what it's all about for us. We've done all kinds of different things. Just a little history of our church. We used to have like just a kind of intercessory prayer meeting on Halloween night for many years. Then we did the harvest, party thing where we literally, the field next to our church, we started in our back parking lot and then eventually moved to the field and spent thousands and thousands of dollars, and we had a great turnout, and just great fun, great time. We had some bounce houses and slides and different things and a kind of bands and all that, tons of food, and so just different things. But we really felt like, how can we get into the community where the people are and be a light? And so we came up several years ago with the front yard parties, which is just, hey, let's just go right where they are. And in the front yard, let's just throw a big party and, track people with free food and cotton candy and, of course, tons of candy and pass out tracts and share the gospel. And so that's what we're doing this year. We have 3 of them. One of them is at the Nepsas, Jeff and Amy Nepsa, and their street is like at Christmas time where you go to those streets where there's tons of Christmas lights, and there's just people all the time. It must be annoying for the neighbors, like they're just people. That's what their street is like on Halloween. So if you are a part of a life group and don't have a place to go, I want to encourage you to go over to one of the life group front yard parties, because all hands on deck. I know for sure the Nepsis, they need a lot of help. I mean, we triple, quadruple the amount of supplies that we give to theirs. It's just a great place to go and just be a light and share the gospel. Also, the Wardens, Rick and Lori Warden's life group with Tim and Marianne Rich. They have had one for years at their place. I'm sure they could use some help. So you could talk to the Wardens as well. And then we're having a youth one over at my brother's house, which is, of course, where one of our life groups is held. And so, it's kind of youth, young adult oriented. You can go over there. Of course, anyone can go. Old people can go, like me, if you want to. So I just want to let you guys know and remind you that there are those 3 outreaches going on. These are great outreaches. Pray for them. Be involved. Allow the Lord to really do His work. So we're excited about it. Looking forward to what the Lord has for you guys tonight as you pray. Can you take some time tonight, especially to pray for these outreaches? And very excited about that. As you think through the word, of course, the questions will lead you guys, but just thinking about, these 4 principles we looked on reaping and sowing, and how we are to sow into our church, right? We talked about that there from verse 6. So important. Your spiritual growth and my spiritual growth will come from sowing in to our church, and we just thought through that. And actually, the bulk of the message was, there was a lot of the message because there's a lot about that in the Bible. And then we talked about sowing the right kind of seed, how we need to sow in the spirit and not in the flesh. We need to be planting and sowing in the spirit. We talked about how maybe we could just sin occasionally. It's like no big deal, right? I'm forgiven. No, you're going to reap what you sow. And just the concept of whatever kind of seed you sow, that's the kind of fruit you're going to get. If you sow to the flesh, if you plant a tree of flesh, your life is going to produce flesh. If you plant a tree of the Spirit, and you've taken the seed of the Spirit, the seed of the Word of God, and sown that, your life's going to produce that. It's going to change your life. And it's not always right now. And that's what we talked about. We talked about the third principle there, sowing with patience. We always want immediate crops, right? It's not always going to be immediate crops. In fact, it's gonna take patience. James 5, we looked at verse 7, where it says that how the farmer waits patiently for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting for the early and the latter rain. And, the hardworking farmer, it's hard work. We talked about how entering into the narrow gates, that few find it. Difficult is the way. The broad gate is easy. Listen, the life of holiness and the life of being filled with the Spirit and sowing the Spirit isn't easy. And so how important it is, to sow with patience. And then the last one we talked about, the fourth principle there is sowing into those opportunities. Every opportunity. We talked a little bit about time. I closed the message with a quote about how precious time is. Paul tells us, redeem the times, for the days are evil, or buy up every opportunity. It could be translated. And as we have opportunity, Paul says in Galatians, let us do good to all, especially those of the household of faith. Don't waste your time. Another way you could put it, don't waste the opportunities God given to us. The opportunities God has given to us is the time God has given to us. You go, oh, there's no opportunity. Yeah, God's given us time. And in those times, or in that time, we have opportunity to serve him. Let's do good with our time. Take your time, use it wisely, invest into people to do good. Don't sit around and waste your time. You're not going to, at the end of your life, go, man, I wish I would have, watched more movies. I wish I would have sat on my couch more. I wish I would have ate more food. I wish I would have relaxed more, done more vacations. That's not what, you're going to be thinking about when you come. I've never been at the bedside of someone dying, which I've been at many. And they've said, man, I wish I would have relaxed more in my life. They might say, I wish I would have focused on the Lord more. I wish I would have focused on my, spending more time with my family around the things of the Lord, things like that. But let me just say, that's on this side. But imagine when you get to heaven, heaven will hold the glory and the reality of those eternal benefits from how we used our time wisely now. And that's really what we need to think about. Because even some things we think like, I wish I'd have spent more time with my family, and how important that is. But that's not, sometimes that's just enjoying family, just hanging out and not really doing anything for the kingdom. I think you're going to find, I wish I would have invested more into God's kingdom. And I know for me and Debbie, our desire is to invest into the kingdom with our family. And we've done that. And of course, we could do that far more. But what a joy it is to raise your children and to hopefully, raise your grandkids in the things of God's kingdom, building God's kingdom. So much more I could say. This video has gone on a little too long already. Lord bless you guys and lead you and guide you tonight as you seek him. Remember to pray for the outreaches this coming Halloween night. God bless you.